Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake him up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake him up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake him up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake him up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up.
What's going on, people? Family, Samuel from level1gaming.com, and congratulations, you guys are leveled up to 134. This is the Double XP podcast, and I am back after a hiatus last week of missing my first of 132 episodes. And by the way, shout out to Dallas, who isn't here tonight. Dallas did an amazing job hosting. He did his thing, and he came to me. He was like, "Bro, I was nervous, but he did his thing, man." And Dallas got the skill. I know Dallas is a talented man, so I was super happy what he did with the show last week. Shout out to my man. Next time we gotta get Kevin the host. Snips, we gotta get you the host one day, man. We'll get you. Dallas finally came out of his show and did you next. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. No habla inglés.
Oh, okay. I speak a little Española. No, I don't. Let's get started with the introductions as I work on these boxes. I feel like I've seen a mistake I made. Let's start with the man with the clamps. Citizen Snips.
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be back for another wonderful Wednesday. Should be a pretty good show for us. We've got an awesome guest yet again. It's always better when we have a guest, so that way y'all have somebody else to listen to besides us. Because I know I get tired of me. I know y'all got to get tired of us at some point. Except for Hugger, of course, the face.
The face. You never get tired of the face.
But you know, it's good to be here, man. I'm excited. We got some cool stuff to talk about. So let's get into it. I got my whiskey. I'm ready. I'm hyped.
Next up, my right hand war man, the floor hugger with the hard R.
What is up, y'all? I am glad we are back. I'm glad we have a Trevor here today. Some pretty big day today for a certain reason. Tomorrow's another big day. We're going to talk about some stuff. Make sure you guys are active. I will read your comments, and we're just here to hang out, have some fun, and be talking about gaming.
Yo, shout out to the king in chat. Halo to the king. It's good to see you in chat, brother. Halo, yes indeed. My eyes got big. I was like, oh, Halo's in the chat. That's what's up. Next up, DALLAZ. 7 cents a day. Shout out to my man Dallas who could make today. But as you can see, he is here in our thoughts and prayers. And also, if you can donate to our PayPal, just 7 cents, man, you can feed Dallas and give him clean water, new shoes. You can get him a book for school. We can send him to school.
Messed up, man.
7 cents a day, and we can help my man Dallas out. So make sure you guys send that over Level 1 Gaming PayPal. So next up, half man, half god, Demigod reviews.
What is going on, everybody? Shout out to Dallas. He don't deserve it. That's cold-blooded.
Oh my god.
That's cold. I'm going to talk about video games, women, and wine, but jeez.
Listen, I owed Dallas this. I owed him this.
I him a handwritten apology.
I thought you were going to give him something else. You hit him with a 7 cents.
Yo, I owed him. Shout out to Halo the Cambodian, bro. Why can't it be 8 cents? Hey, man, if you give him 8 cents, we can, give him a new goat. I mean, we can help him out, man. Just go ahead and send them funds.
Dallas, hold your head up, King. You don't deserve it.
Hey, Dallas deserves all this slander. He deserves all of this slander that he gonna get today. Last but not least, we do have a guest who is like super supportive, always in the chat, keeping people talking, keeping things going. We got our man Trevor from Winterborn Studios. Trevor, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? Not a whole lot. Just here to talk about games and rap with y'all. It's gonna be fun.
Before we get going, because I want people to realize and notice that incredible background you have there for your game Externus. So before we get going, I want the people to know more about you and who you are and what you do. So who in the hell is Trevor? Who is Trevor?
So Trevor is the social media / community manager for Winterborn. We are a studio working on our first game, which is a tactical RPG called Externus. You can go to externusgame.com or winterborngames.com and check that out. And I have just been in and around the game industry for a while. I tried to do what you guys are doing right now at Level 1 back in 2012 with a website that nobody remembers called Spider Duck. And tried to do the whole podcast thing and everything, but ultimately it failed, and ultimately I was super burnt out because I was doing a whole lot of work as well as working. But
I understand that.
But I learned a lot of skills from it, and I'm using those skills now on the games side. So it's been I value that time that I took to work on Spider Duck and learn how to video edit, learn how to podcast, all that stuff. So, yeah, it brought me here.
Okay. So, I know for those who haven't seen it, we do have an interview up that we did with Trevor and Kent about their game Externus, about Winterborn Studios. And one thing I did want to talk to Trevor about or bring up in here, we talked about it then before, is, during these times, we're not having like the conventions, the PAX Souths and things like that, where you guys as an indie developer can really get people hands-on with your game, talk to them face-to-face. And we at Level 1, we love that, right? Number one, we love indie studios and we love being able to go to conventions, talk to people, get hands-on with the game, right? So as someone in your position, who's community manager and doing the PR, like what kind of like struggles or pitfalls are you sort of seeing with not being able to really get the game out in front of people how you guys, I'm sure, originally planned to?
It's extremely hard just to try to build a base per se, just to get people interested, especially because right now we're still we're early enough in development where we're getting close to hitting our alpha stage at this point, so we don't have a ton to show. We have our pre-alpha demo that you can go and download off of externusgame.com, to see kind of what we more of like our proof of concept and everything. But we don't have a ton to show yet, so really that's kind of almost been our advantage in a way, because we had there been events, we wouldn't have had a ton to show yet. But hopefully, they did announce PAX. Hopefully, it actually happens, especially
Hopefully.
PAX East, because PAX East is big for indie developers. So we're hoping it happens, and hope it's in June. So it's a better time of the year, I would say, for us, because by the time June rolls around, we should be hopefully about to hit beta. So we'll have a lot to show from the game. So that's our goal, at least. But we're hoping that PAX actually does happen, because we do plan on being there.
So one of the things, and me and Hugger talk about this a lot, like how invested we were emotionally, because you guys were on Kickstarter, and when we interviewed you guys were like really close to your goal, right? And me and Hugger, just because we absolutely love you guys, you can't, I mean, the whole team, like we absolutely fell in love with you guys in the beginning. We were like talking in private conversations, like looking at Kickstarter, going back and forth, sharing, like invested into you guys reaching your goal. And we did say, you know, eventually we want to get you guys back on and talk to you guys get further along with the game. But like really quick, like how did that feel? Like we never got to like really talk to you guys. Like how did that feel when you guys hit that goal? Because you guys were like so close, and we were like getting down to the last minute.
I'll be honest, Kickstarter was a full roller coaster of emotions for us, because it started off hot. We had a great first week. We were killing it. And then those like second 2 weeks, even though you read and like, you know, we did a ton of research beforehand, and you always read that like, oh, those middle weeks, like nothing happens then. But like, yeah, they're right. Nothing happens then. But it's as a developer that's like, hey, I want my game to be out there. Like it sends you into a swirl of depression, because you're just like, nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention. What are we going to do? Nothing's going to happen. We're not going to get funded. You know, all these things keep going through your head. So then once you get into that last week, and like, we pushed hard. I mean, I was like pushing stuff out like every 2 hours to get people to be like, hey, come on, we need help, please. That sort of thing. But like once we hit that last little bit, it was like, it was such an amazing feeling. As well as just like a big sigh of relief to be like, okay, because we were going to do the game anyway, at least try to, even without the Kickstarter. But this, you know, it takes a lot off of our shoulders to actually get some funding. So yeah, we were extremely happy, extremely proud to be able to actually reach our goal. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Because with the last couple of days, we were like, we're not going to hit it. So literally, Kent went and changed our schedule, like our plan for our development schedule and plan, as if we weren't going to hit it. And then we did hit it. So then he had to go back and change it again. So he actually really created more work for himself because of that, but in a good way.
So definitely make sure you guys go check out the interview we did with these guys, man. Absolutely amazing, small indie studio. And I believe Hugger has gameplay up in Hugger as well. Yes, has gameplay. If you guys want to check out Externus, you got to support studios like this. People who, you know, absolutely love their game, who love what they're doing, man. Like I said, we've always been invested and love talking with indie developers. And like I said, I don't know why we felt this like personal invested interest in you guys hitting your Kickstarter goal, but we were super excited about that. So make sure you guys go check him out. Trevor's information is on screen. Go follow him on Twitter. He does stream.
I stream every once in a while, and I know you did say something about the background earlier. This is actually an image we use for our Kickstarter backers as our background we gave out. This was done by our artist Moody, who is just extremely talented. Hopefully sometime in the future I can connect you guys with Moody, and you can talk to Moody, because he's an extremely interesting guy, as anybody that listens to our podcast will come to understand. Yeah, he's extremely talented, and I'm glad to have someone like him on the team that can bring, because it was a tabletop game for us originally. So like he's literally bringing characters we played at the table to life. So it's really cool to see the characters that we imagined as like late teenagers into our college years, like actually being made into characters that we can see on a screen in a video game. It's really cool.
All I'm saying is, on December 21st, when I get Magneto's powers and I rob a bank and have the money, I want you guys to make a game about me.
No, you
What?
can't because that's premeditated.
What they gonna do, baby? I am Magneto. What they gonna
Magneto
do?
powers. I mean, they did build a glass
Stab you
prison
with a
though.
fork.
Well, they don't have it right now. All they got is guns. So, I'm just saying, I want my own video game, December 21st.
I don't know, man.
December 21st.
Someone will someone will do some 3D printing on some plastic bullets or something, and you'll be done, man.
I'm pretty sure plastic guns are already a thing. There's some high polymer weapons and plastic rounds.
Well,
They're
listen.
ready for you, man. You just don't know.
Listen.
My weakness, plastic. A Coke
As
bottle,
long as
no.
Hugger gets Domino's powers and I can hang out around her, I'll be fine with the plastic, and I'll handle the metal.
You know I want my Jean Grey powers.
This is
Destroy
true.
the planet.
Well, I mean, she'd be good with those too.
Woo! I'm just here to end y'all.
I'm just wondering, like, Kevin, because you got that like 1% in there. Like, I wonder what powers you would get. Like your nails would grow really thick. Like
Gambit.
Dude, Gambit is amazing. I love Gambit. Gambit is like one of my favorite
What
X-Men.
I just come up and put my hand on your shoulder, charge you up.
Pat of friendship.
Because of that comment. Talking about my man.
Yo, so check it out. Speaking of things we've always wanted, Cyberpunk actually comes out tomorrow, and it has come out to rave reviews. However, I made a comment on Twitter that games with bugs, multiple bugs, buggy enough for you to comment on, and comment on how repeated they are, games like that should not receive perfect scores. Reason being is because it does affect your gameplay, it does affect your enjoyability, and that should factor into the score. Some outlets, publications, gave Cyberpunk a perfect score, while mentioning how many bugs and glitches that it has. So, my question to the panel, it's out right now.
It's already out.
Oh, did it drop? Okay, it's out right now. Thanks for letting me know.
I was just about to say it's out right now.
Thanks for letting me know. My question to the panel is, can a buggy game does it deserve to get perfect score? Because I remember, and I think somebody wrote an article about that. I think it was IGN, how games like Days Gone were killed for bugginess. So, I want to get y'all thoughts. I want to start with, I guess, Trevor, what are your thoughts on games that come out? And obviously, it's been having issues because it got delayed. Having been issues that we're hearing about still receiving perfect scores.
I have to agree with you. If there's a bunch of bugs, that doesn't mean you can't give it a 9. You can give it a 9 and say, hey, this would have been a 10 without that. Or you could say, hey, we gave it a 9 for now, and then put a little asterisk and say, hey, that's because of all these bugs. However, if there's a day 1 update coming, if those bugs get fixed, we'll change the score. It's your publication. Honestly, you can do that. You can change the score if you want. We see a lot of places that'll do like reviews in progress, especially now that we have the games as a service thing going on with a ton of games now, and stuff like that's in early access, that sort of thing. So you can put one of those. Hey, we're gonna re-review this, reevaluate the score after a lot of these bug fixes, and still be in the right. But yeah, I think if it has bugs, it definitely should take at least some hit to the score. But I mean, that's just me personally.
Yeah, because I mean, a bug here and there, no big deal. But the way these outlets who received a copy are reporting it sounds pretty consistent. I mean, and the Xbox One and PS4 versions of this game, I mean, it got moments where you can go somewhere and park and wait 20 seconds for everything to pop in. It's pretty ugly on base console. But Demi, I want to get your thoughts, man. I know you excited for Cyberpunk. Does and as someone who reviews games, you are a reviewer, you go deep dive into your reviews. A game like this, which is high profile, highly anticipated, has a multitude of bugs. May not be game breaking, but a multitude of bugs. Would you give it a perfect score? And what are your thoughts about these games like this getting a perfect score?
Bugs and glitches, after a while, disqualify from being a 10. That's my personal take on it. If it's consistent and there's a lot of bugs, a perfect score is nullified from this game. Maybe a 9. I go down 2 if it's consistent and it's just a lot happening. Those bugs, so I don't think it's deserving of a perfect score. And I know a lot of these reviewers were getting had the day 1 patch, or they were playing on PC mostly. So I'm a bit confused about that one. It's this whole review for Days Gone for Cyberpunk is kind of up in the air with me right now. It's a weird take. As excited as I am for the game, don't give it a perfect score if you know it's not perfect on the build. Come back to it, do a second take, second opinion, whatever the case may be, and then fully review it again, or do a review on progress like it was said from Trevor. However, Days Gone wasn't great, so I don't know why people are putting this into the category. That was a bland game. Just wanted to say that.
Now, never mind. I'll come back to that. Hugger, I know you are one of the biggest Cyberpunk anticipators that I know. Are you weary of the amount of bugs and glitches in this game? And if you were to review this game, would your score as a reviewer, would your score be factored? Would the glitches and bugs be factored into your score?
Like Demi said, if it's consistent and it's save bugs where it corrupts your save and you have to start over and stuff like that, definitely would knock it down. But since we don't know the extent of the glitches because we're only really seeing the start of it, review in progress, what I would do, because no game is perfect, and a Cyberpunk game as big as they say it's going to be, I would expect it to have bugs. What I would do is I would wait. I know everybody wants to have their review be the first one, but look in the case of Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead, they held off, at least on PC, unlocking the online. Was it console? The online was delayed by 2 months because people they already knew what the game was. So that's when they slipped the online and all the shenanigans that came in from there. I would wait. I know it's not ideal, but I would wait till everything is said and done till we get the patches, because they could put in a patch tonight and it breaks the game more, or it could fix it. So I don't know. This is hard when you're reviewing a game this high profile. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, and you can't pick a side.
True. Now, Snips, almost any review you go to for any game, if you go on Metacritic, OpenCritic, you're going to find 100s, you're going to find zeros from Rando Site 1, Rando Site 2, and Rando Site 3, right? For me, the biggest issue is these are bigger publications who are, in a way, set the standard because they are one of the first reviews that pops up on a Metacritic or IGN. So I want to get your thoughts about that with games like this most other games get killed for what we're hearing is happening in this game. What are your thoughts about these bigger publications giving this game such high scores, with that apparently being a bug city for a lot of it?
I mean, honestly, I feel like some of the larger publications, and I'm not going to go out of my way to name names, I'm just saying in terms of likelihood or anything like that, I feel like the larger publications are the ones who are most likely to be kind of dishonest when it comes to that stuff, or give more leeway, because they stand to benefit the most from having a good relationship with that developer, or not having a bad one sometimes. So it's that's something to keep in mind as well. They got a lot more skin in the game than we do. If some giant publisher, if CG Project Red says hey, you know what, we didn't like what LB1 Gaming says, be like, okay, we can move on from this. We can still grow. But somebody like Game Informer takes that kind of hit where it's oh crap, this is kind of substantial for us. Now all these are massive following now thinks that this developer hates us, and anything we do with them going forward is going to have this issue to deal with. So I think that's part of it as well. And it's nothing new on top of what anybody else has said. I do agree that it's ridiculous to give a perfect score when you have that kind of substantial amount of bugs. But the reason being for that is and it's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. Bugs are the only thing I can come up with in a review that aren't subjective. I can like one art style and you could hate it. I could like a gameplay system and you could hate it. Same with a control scheme. Same with a story. All of that is subjective. And at the end of the day, that's what a review is. It's not an end-all be-all for something. It's, hey, this is what I think about this product. But when it comes to bugs, a game crashing is a game crashing. A texture failing to load is a texture failing to load. That's the same for everyone. So when you just try and make that non-existent or mention it, say it's this recurring problem, but then be like, but it doesn't impact the value of the game, you're full of poo. And I don't agree with that. So
I'm full of poo.
Stop.
So I do want to ask this,
Jesus.
and anyone's free to answer. And I want to ask the chat, because what we do like to get interactive with the chat. So chat, I want you to in the chat, because someone brought this up. I think it was Omar. He said Bloodborne is perfect, right? So I'm gonna ask the panel, and I want the chat to chime in into the chat. Okay, is there, and feel free to jump in and answer, is there a such thing as a perfect game? If so, what is it? Everyone's
Kevin
like,
said it best. Everything is subjective.
Yeah.
Like, you guys hated the pigeon missions in Spider-Man. I don't mind them. They're like, whatever. Everything's
freaking
subjective.
pigeons.
swinging
I love
through-
Anthem.
through
You guys
4
hate it.
different clouds that look the exact same, but for different reasons.
Exactly. Like, Hustle. GTA 5 is perfect for him, but I'm like, once you're done the story, you realize how empty that game is. There's nothing in there.
Shots fired.
It's all subjective. We can talk about the games we think would be great, but aren't great, or maybe the ones that are so bad that they're good. Because I have a lot of those.
Yeah, I know some of those.
Bloodborne being perfect?
Oh,
That's a deep cut.
load the shotgun, Demi. Why? Why not? Load it up and shoot it.
Terrible camera angles. Kill that game. Bad co-op options. Lack of instructions. And the story being told in a very minimalistic way kind of ruins that from being perfect.
Omar, let us know in the chat, man, why you say it's perfect. Let us know.
He also says Chrono Trigger is perfect.
Hey, and again, that's how Demi feels about it. And I can say I don't really like Souls games.
Thank.
And I'm gonna say, you know what ruins Bloodborne for me? Not having a difficulty slider.
Oh,
So I can make it easier. So
so
I
you can
actually
cheese
play
it.
So, yeah, like
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that's the
but
problem
that's
with
just
those
me.
games.
That's me. You know, like I understand why people like those games. And like they're good games. It's just not for me. You know, like.
Yeah.
But a
like
10
the
for me,
lore
Mass
of
Effect 2. There you go, right there. Boom, 10.
Oh.
Yeah. You're right.
Look at that big old smile you put on Hugger when you said that. Like, she's got extremely happy. Oh, she
You know
loves
what's
it.
funny? I just started replaying it, and I was gonna replay it on console, and I was like, "Oh, this is ugly." And then I put it on PC, and I was like, "Oh."
Yep.
And I can't wait. BioWare, if you're listening, you never know. Somebody may be watching. Casey
They
Hudson and
should
Mark
be.
Dara don't got anything to do now.
Well, this is the only podcast that still likes Anthem, so.
This is true.
Oh.
This is true.
I just got a big Art of Anthem book, and I'm so good.
Is
But
it okay to say that when you're thinking, if you was to think of a perfect game, right? Seeing how much more convoluted games are now, games being made, would you say that the older games would get closer to that perfect game than the newer age game? Because there's so much more people critique and look at now. Say versus my favorite Mario game is Super Mario Bros. 3. Love it. I don't have a single thing wrong with that game. Like, nothing I can say wrong about that game. In my eyes, that game is perfect. Like,
but then you also gotta, as somebody who looks back on the retro games, once you go back and actually play them again, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
and that's the
They're
thing.
not as
Mario
great
3 is
as I thought.
You
yeah,
said-
I mean,
Mario
look.
3 is untouchable.
Untouchable, which way?
That's a perfect Mario game.
Oh, that's
No,
not.
I agree. I mean, I agree with you about Mario, but if you go back and play like GoldenEye,
It's terrible.
which during the N64 days would have been a 10,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a 9 or a 10.
Oh yeah.
But like, go back to it now, it's so hard to play. Like, it's ridiculous how like it's basically unplayable in 2020. So
hmm
yeah, so I wouldn't say older games are easier necessarily. It just
No.
depends on what games. Like there are certain games that stand the test of time. You got, like Link to the Past or Super Mario Brothers 3. Those are games that are going to hold up just because they were good games, regardless
Yep.
of when
Yeah.
they were made. But
That's
you
right.
look at yeah, exactly. You look back at some stuff though, like in the PS1 era and the N64 era. All those games are ugly. Like all of them are ugly as hell.
Yeah.
So it's but at the same time, when we first played them, it's like you look at
Amazing.
you look at Final Fantasy VII, you see those cutscenes, and it's like, oh my god! And then you get like
Right?
to the regular game, and it's all like blocky, fist guys that are really just ugly as hell, and you're just like, but this is amazing. At
Right.
least at the time, but now it's now you have to get Final Fantasy VII remake to make that feel like it's amazing. So
Yo,
That Tifa from the remake is what Tifa looked like in my head for years. And then I went back and started playing it because it's on Game Pass, and I was like, oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Yo, shout out to
Relax.
Chocolaka in the chat. He was on a podcast last week. He said Super Mario World is better than Mario 3. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's close. I love both.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to 3 because World is amazing.
World is pretty.
3 runs laps around World, man.
Tifa is bae.
I don't know.
I don't think
It's
World would be as good as it is without 3.
True. And we can all say 2 was an abomination because it wasn't a real Mario game.
Yeah.
Like, no one ever acknowledges Mario 2.
Panic.
It literally wasn't. I mean,
No one ever. It's literally 1, 3, and then, like 2 doesn't even get
Isn't
mentioned
it
anymore.
Weird how sometimes the second games are usually better, or even the third games. Like, I love Mass Effect 1. I was recently started to replay. God, that game is ugly. It's
Yeah.
awful. But Mass
But-
Effect 2,
Again,
but Mass Effect 3,
We're bougie as
Andromeda is
gamers
getting
now.
back
Like,
up there.
things have to look prettier now.
You can't go back and judge past games by current standards.
But that's what we're
It's
talking
ridiculous.
about.
I
right
agree
now.
with that. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
like trying to talk about like the Model T had a terrible top speed. compared to the Ferrari. It's like, yeah, because we advanced technology several decades
When you-
ago. So naturally, yeah, it's gonna be better.
hey, why are you bagging on
I
the
know,
Model
that's
T like
but
that?
we're talking about what games would be.
Max
You
Payne
can't
3 is
review
best in
old
series.
games by today's standards, which is basically you can't review old games.
Mhm.
You can talk about
Well-
the nostalgia of them, but to try and judge them by current standards is unfair to the game itself.
God, where's my 60 FPS on this Chrono Trigger?
16 bits? What does that even mean?
Oh man, I think part of us because all of us have been gaming since we could control our hands, right? Since we had proper motor functions, right? as we get older, the more we game, the more bougie we get, and the more like you said, where's my 60 frames per second? Where's my pretty graphics? And that goes back to Kevin saying we can't really compare graphically, but gameplay wise, games from back in the day destroy most games now. And the only person who wouldn't tell you that started playing on PS3. Just being honest.
I mean,
Come on with it.
It can still go either way. Like there are games back in the day that controlled well, and games like go back and try to play Tomb Raider on PS1. It's not going to control well.
But
play the old
again,
Resident Evil games.
But them polygon
Exactly,
titties
yeah.
though. Them polygon titties though. Like that's all that matters with the old Tomb Raider games. Shout out to old Laura and her polygons. I've never really thought
Get
say
your
it.
eyes poked out.
I haven't said polygon titties as much as I've in my life till I met her. Like I think within our first week she was like, yeah,
She did
polygon
add that
titties.
to your vocabulary.
She did.
I'm pretty- yeah,
I
I'll
don't
blame
know
her
what you're
for that.
talking about.
Within our
That
first
wasn't even me
week.
that brought it up.
You
That
sure?
was, I think,
That was
Glorious
Dallas.
Kev.
Nah, I think
No, the first episode I was on was with Mrs. T and Glorious Kev, I think. And we were talking about our love for Tomb Raider, and he brought up that, and I was like, you know what? Polygon titties.
Polygon Yitties. That's crazy.
Yeet. Polygon Yitties. Hey, chat, we appreciate y'all, man. Keep letting us know, man, like what game is perfect before we move on to the next topic,
Sekiro is
man.
perfect.
Oh,
Sekiro.
Once I hear Souls-like, I'm like,
In fact, Titanfall 2 is a perfect shooter for the last gen.
not a perfect shooter, but it is the most underrated. It didn't get enough respect. Titanfall 2 campaign was so amazing, and the original Titanfall was underrated as well. It didn't have a story, it was underrated, but Titanfall 2, probably the best FPS we had this gen.
Not the best, because Doom's the best. Doom's the best.
I'll give you that.
Doom, yeah. Doom's the best if we're talking FPS.
You talking one or two?
I'm talking both of them.
Okay. Hey, I'm not gonna fight you on that.
Only thing that can compare probably is Wolfenstein.
Hustle says Mario RPG was perfect.
No.
Tetris is a perfect game. Tell me something wrong with Tetris. Find me an issue.
The
None.
way EA has monetized it.
Better.
Who?
Look, there have been bad versions.
Bad versions.
but the core Tetris game is perfect. I will say, like, nothing beats like an actual core game of Tetris.
Y'all actually just sit down and just play Tetris, man?
Yeah. Pokemon Yellow was perfect too.
No.
Yes, it was.
Oh.
What's wrong with Pokemon Yellow?
No, let's not get into this because then you guys get into the Gen 1, we don't need... Y'all is just like...
I was trying to send us down that rabbit hole. I was really about to send us down that rabbit hole.
I know you were.
Hey, we all know Gen 1 was the best Pokemon.
Yeah!
No.
All right.
Thank you, Trevor!
Oh my
All right.
Thank you,
goodness.
Trevor. It is the best gen. It's the only gen that truly matters. Thank you. Finally, someone else on this podcast. Okay, Hugger, Pokemon talk is over.
I don't believe it.
It is believable. I'm about to switch the topics right now. So tomorrow we will be.
We have some news.
You want to go with the news first?
Yeah.
We'll go with the news first.
Big Halo news.
Halo.
Halo news this week, man.
Now this is bittersweet. So of course we know Halo was delayed to 2021, and we were not fully aware of when. But now we're hearing it's going to be fall 2021, right? And I always say delays aren't necessarily bad. If it means the game's going to be better, make it better. Take your time, right? We know Halo has some development issues. One thing I'm kind of hoping about this is that we may possibly get a Halo themed Xbox Series X. That might happen, but I want to get y'all started. I want it. So I'm gonna start with you, Demi. What are your thoughts about Halo being pushed all the way? It's now gonna, I guess, it's gonna be a full year delay, not the 6 months that most predicted.
The time, Craig was out here looking rough. Take the time that you need. They said the game was done. Like, both versions are done, multiplayer and single player. They're just polishing up now. Like, they're literally polishing up to the best that they can do, which is fine by me. Just goodness, make that game as pretty as possible. I'm just mad we got like a map multiplayer teaser in those photos. If you looked at the blog post they had, like showing off the Spartans and everything, which that looks so good, man. But no video, the multiplayer. Give me something, man. I'm tired of waiting. Also, have you noticed that a lot of the rollout for Halo Infinite has been going on without Halo?
Without Halo, yep. The monster cans and all that stuff. Yeah, get double XP if you eat some Doritos for Halo Infinite.
Some Butterfingers.
Yeah.
Butterfingers, Snapchats, that weird Power Your Dreams commercial. I'm like, you still doing the Halo rollout without Halo?
They didn't have a choice.
This is awkward.
They
weren't going to reshoot all that
at all. But Trevor, I want to get your thoughts on this because you can sit on both sides of the fence with this, right? Is a year of extra development time, seeing the game was pretty much in their eyes complete. Mm-hmm. How much of a difference is this full year could it make for this title?
Could make all the difference. I mean, it can take a game from an 8 to a 10. I mean, if we think about it, all that polish, like get all the bugs ironed out. Have a ton of playtest behind it. It could do a ton for that game, and honestly, good. I'm a massive Halo fan. Halo might be one of my favorite, might even, well, I don't know if it's my favorite franchise of all time, but it's up there. So I want this game to be the best Halo game that it can be. So I am happy for as long as it takes. So if it's going to take them a year to make this Halo game the best Halo game they can possibly make it, I'm all for it. Because I'd rather it be a really great game than to just rush it out and have it be another forgettable Halo. I mean, Halo 5 is a forgettable Halo because the campaign was just not good. They did the multiplayer right. I will say that a lot of people don't give Halo 5 the credit in multiplayer because the multiplayer was awesome when it came out. But yeah, I think they need to come out of the gates swinging with a really great Halo game, or else nobody's going to care about Halo again.
Do you think I know people were kind of talking about them possibly releasing like the multiplayer. Do you think that's a good idea, or should it all just be released at one time, like everything?
I think they should just release it all at once. Because if you don't, you'll have people that want the other, and then they'll constantly be like, well, where's this? Where's this? Or they'll continue to judge it based on the multiplayer without playing the single player without playing the multiplayer. Just release it all at once. Just wait till it's all done. Wait till it's all good and polished, and then just send it out at the same time.
Hugger, being a primarily PC player, you don't own an Xbox console, and I don't think you ever will. This is the first Halo game since the original Halo to drop day and date on PC, right? And it'll be on Game Pass, so that's super amazing. So, what are your thoughts about this game from what you saw being pushed back all the way a year? Do you think it'll help or hurt the franchise?
I mean, you know me. I would rather a game be pushed back than be rushed out. At least now, think about it. You'll get to play Halo and buy your Xbox at the same time.
You get that theme
So
one.
Exactly. I would rather just you push it back and you're an ass. You release it with bugs and you're an ass. What can you do? I would rather them push it back. Witcher was pushed back. Cyberpunk's been pushed back. I wish Mass Effect Andromeda was pushed back. And just let game devs do their thing. Yes, it sucks when I said this on Twitter. It sucks when the thing you love or the person you love or attached to is criticized, but you need to let it grow and be able to grow and have room to grow, and don't pigeonhole it. And that's what Halo needs to do. Halo needs to sit down and reevaluate what's going to happen, what they need to do moving forward, because dropping on PC day and date is a pretty big thing. And I just don't understand. You know me, I just don't care about the people bickering about nothing. It's like, we're at home and we got nothing to do, so of course we're going to bicker right now.
Yeah.
I do think this delay differs from the Switchers and the Cyberpunks. The reason being is because you can tell Microsoft was ready to release Halo as is. Like they were ready to release it. Like they showed it and showed that hour-long gameplay. Like they didn't see an issue with this game and they were ready to drop it. And I think with like Cyberpunk, they was like, "Hey, we're gonna push." They were never really sold on. Okay, yeah, but Microsoft was ready. Like they showed, like I said, they started that whole event with an hour gameplay. They were saying, "Yeah, this is the one," and then they snatched it back. And that's why it feels a little different. I want to get your thoughts about it, Snips. How do you feel about Halo being pushed back 2 years? Because I mean, this is a make or break game for 343, in my opinion. Right? Halo Infinite has to be super successful. But what are your thoughts about it, Snips?
I mean, it's short term. Obviously, it hurts them. This is your premier franchise. There aren't many that you can name that are going to stand in terms of the echelons of Halo when it comes to Microsoft's gaming system. That is your baby. This is your pride and joy. The fact that it wasn't ready at launch is bad already. But I mean, at the end of the day, the decision, short-term pain for long-term gain is where it's at. If you need to delay it because it wasn't ready and it was going to suck, well, I'd rather have you save my beautiful visions of Halo that I have in my head to be positive memories when it does come out than rush it out there and then me be upset to the point where I'm probably never going to buy into that franchise ever again. So it's, I don't know. Like I said, short-term pain, long-term gain is the hope, the dream. I just hope they don't take all this time, because if they take a year and then it comes out and it's still bad,
And that kind of leads me to what I want to ask Demi. Because Omar, shout out to Omar in the chat because he's been killing it with his comments today, right? So he said if I was Microsoft, I would give the Halo IP to id Software, right? Because as you know, Microsoft bought ZeniMax, and id is one of the developers that they now have, right? So Demi, your thoughts on the year delay, and if this isn't a good Halo game, would you consider? Do you think Microsoft consider, or do you think they should consider possibly handing over the reins? Because Halo, Master Chief is on the Mount Rushmore of video games. Master Chief, Mario, like he's up there, right? So do you think if this isn't, after a year delay, if this isn't what it should be, should they Microsoft hand the reins over to someone like id?
No. I'll say one of the worst things about Halo in the past Halo games has been the writing. The gameplay has been fine, just the writing is what lacks a lot. Handing over to id Software won't do much if they aren't gonna, give you a good story behind the Halo. They're great at gameplay, but you're not really missing anything.
Because Halo 5 was a lie.
Yeah. The main thing 343 needs to patch is just cohesive and coherent writing. You muddied up Halo 5. Halo 4 was starting off pretty good, but it's always a hit or miss when it comes to that part of Halo. The multiplayer is great, but then it's like, the story gets interesting, but then let's kill off the villain, or let's just make some forgettable moment happen. This whole Chief versus the UNSC or Chief versus Locke didn't even last that long. So they just need to upgrade their writing game, get the pen game better, honestly.
And like I said, you're right, because I mean, like I said, Halo 5 story was a lie. It wasn't what it was built to be. And here's the thing about Halo, right? If you go into like the Halo books and things like that, Halo's lore is Star Wars level big, right? You can really do a lot with the Halo lore, right? I don't know when they're going to finally come out with the show. Is it Showtime has the TV show coming? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was Showtime, yeah.
Right, you can do a lot with the story, and thinking about what Omar was saying and what you were saying, Demi, you're right. The gameplay was never an issue. The gameplay is still great, right? I thought that's the first thing I noticed with Infinite. I'm like, holy crap, this looks legit, right? It was just like you can also tell, this game was meant for the Xbox One. Like you can really tell, like that's meant for the Xbox One, like. And that's why part of me like, they should just drop the Xbox One.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the problem with those cross-generational games. Is you're seeing it now. You see games that just aren't quite have that next-gen feel yet, and that's because they had to develop them for last gen and this gen. So, but honestly, I think pushing back Halo was probably the best thing for Microsoft. I mean, you look at the shelves now. How many Xbox One or Xbox Series X's do you see sitting on shelves?
Yeah, you're not seeing them.
Nothing changes because Halo didn't come out. But how many are you going to see when Halo comes out? You're going to see none on the shelves then because people are going to want to play Halo. So it's a best case scenario for them. Like right when probably interest would be waning a little bit, you're going to get another pick me up because Halo's coming out.
And I'm hoping, because I think part of the issue why we didn't get a theme console was because the original console was so limited for them to produce. I really hope things turn around, because I would love. I mean, every gen we've had a Halo themed console, right?
They always do sick Halo themed consoles, and like they're always amazing. They always have. Microsoft does that level of detail, to where the button presses even have sounds from the games and stuff. I mean. Like they always do an amazing job with their console designs, so I would love to see a Halo themed one.
I'm all for. Part of me is like tempted to just kind of sit on my Series X purchase, just to kind of because there's nothing worse than spending the $500 and then the same $500 it has a prettier version. You got to put some fake skins, wraps on it. Like, oh man, that looks so pretty, right? It freaking sucks. So we're gonna move on to the last topic, and I want to start with my sister. Hugger. Tomorrow are the Game Awards, right? We get to sit here for 3 hours. Like I said on Ma'am on Monday, I'm gonna sit here with my Skittles and my ginger ale and my blanket, and we're gonna sit for 3 hours listening to Jeff Keighley talk about how much he loves Kojima. That's tomorrow. So I want to go around the panel, and I want to start with you on give me a because it's supposed to be Xbox and Sony are both saying, "Hey, watch tomorrow," as if there's something coming, right? Tune in. Make sure you're tuned in. We're showing something. So, could you give us a quick prediction on what you think we might see tomorrow, and also what's Game of the Year 2020? As far as what the choices are, not your personal.
Let me look up the choices again because I can't remember. But tomorrow I know Dragon Age definitely coming out, but from Sony, I don't know, maybe Sunset Overdrive 2.
Ooh!
Don't
Don't
know.
tease me.
I like that game.
I'm trying to pull up the game.
Xbox, maybe more Hellblade. I mean, it's been a year. Give me more Hellblade. I don't know what to expect from them. I can't imagine. Oh, maybe Ragnarok, but I can't imagine things that aren't already announced that they could talk about.
So you got
But then
really
they're
quick.
just gonna be
you
like,
got
"Come here."
Animal Crossing, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ghost of Tsushima, Doom Eternal, Last of Us Part 2.
Well, you know, I would like Tsushima to win, but it's probably gonna be Last of Us. I think just Tsushima with the constant updates and keeping people up to date and free stuff is just that sells it to me. But it's probably gonna be Last of Us, and I won't be mad. Ashley, Laura, oh my god, and Ashley did great jobs. Joel was great. I don't know. Don't care. whatever one I pick is gonna be like, well, why didn't you pick this one? I guess.
Now, Demi, the Forza Horizon account, as well as the Xbox account, is saying make sure you guys are tuned in tomorrow. A lot of people are saying we're getting a Cyberpunk car in Forza Horizon 4. And if that's the only thing Microsoft shows, I'm going to flip over my brand new desk, both of them. But your predictions for tomorrow and who wins Game of the Year?
Sony side, we're probably going to see that Silent Hill rumor come true.
I can see that.
Maybe a little bit more Resident Evil Village because I think Sony has like the rights to that. And then from Xbox, probably Hellblade. Maybe, a little more Halo teaser. And Cyberpunk car and Forza. Yeah, man.
Like, yeah, exciting times.
Yeah. And it's going to be Legos. Yeah.
Hey, man, listen. No.
Who did Forza? Who did they? What was it? Was it Lego they connected up with?
Yeah, I watched that.
For Forza Horizon 3, right? That was kind of fire. Like, nobody can cap and say that wasn't. Was it 4?
Yeah.
4. They did Hot Wheels at 3.
Hot Wheels was 3. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Which I think that stuff's cool. So
it is pretty awesome, and I'm someone who puts Forza down pretty fast. But I definitely
I play Forza.
the Horizon games are
I
awesome.
play Forza. Yeah, Horizon is great. I know my personal choice isn't going to make it, but The Last of Us is going to win.
Yeah.
smart man.
So prepare for The Last of Us Part 2 to be picked a couple times for a couple things.
A lot of
Flip back on you. Not Game of the Year. I'm gonna give you the toughest choice: Ashley or Laura for Performance of the Year.
That's
Because
tough.
I said Ashley.
Laura.
Laura did it. Laura does it, but we've seen Laura in a lot of stuff, and I'm just like,
And
Ashley.
she can play anything, and I'm gonna say her.
She really can.
She can play me in a movie, and I'm gonna say she did that thing. You feel me?
She would do that thing.
Definitely Laura. Like it's she's like the perfect voice actress. I like no flaws in her. Like she deserves to be in every game. Give me every game with her, and I'll be
You're
happy.
gonna hear The Last of Us Part 2.
Last was
game. The Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us
Best
Part 2.
esports coach. The Last of Us Part 2. You know what's coming.
I think Demi broke.
Best esports coach. The Last of Us Part 2.
This part too.
Only Kojima.
Jesus.
All right, Snips, predictions for tomorrow, and also who wins Gotti 2020.
I can't imagine, even though I never played the game, I'm taking that what you want. Just based on the hype and all the controversy surrounding it, I think Last of Us Part 2 is going to win Game of the Year. As far as predictions, man, I don't think there's going to be anything that shocking shown to us tomorrow. Because I don't care if Microsoft and Sony say, you need to be watching tomorrow. Name the last time anything that they were involved in, and they were like, hey, don't worry about watching this one. No, they want you to watch every time they do something, because that's the whole reason they do it. They want the views. They want the eyes. So, of course, they're going to tell you to tune in and watch it and make you think that there's something crazy is going to happen. But I'm not getting my hopes up for anything. If I'm wrong, awesome. I love to be proven wrong in these instances. But show it to me, man. I don't care.
Trevor,
Amen.
Gotti, and predictions.
All right, so I've been thinking about this, and I think I've pieced it all together.
Okay.
Right, so if you look at the Epic Game Store, they're pushing that there's going to be a sale because of the Game Awards tomorrow. And tomorrow, what else is coming out that's going to be free on the Epic Game Store? It's Tyranny and it's Pillars of Eternity, 2 Obsidian games. So Obsidian is going to make an announcement tomorrow or have a trailer for one of their games coming out. That's my prediction.
My man putting in work with this one. He thought about this one.
He's got a board behind him. We can't see it.
That's why I have to have the background so you don't see my, crazy serial killer board. But yeah, no, I pieced 2 and 2 together. That's what's happening. The other thing that'll probably happen just to break my heart is there will be a blank screen. 3 green dots will come up on it. And it'll be like, Sam Fisher is now in Watch Dogs Legion. And I'll be like, come on, guys. What are you doing to me?
You sure?
Why?
Or Fortnite.
Now in Smash.
Yeah. Or Sam Fisher's in Fortnite. So you can have your Fortnite dances with Sam Fisher.
Don't give them ideas.
They're going to do it. And they're not going to give me a Splinter Cell game, and I'm going to be upset. All right?
Yeah.
Honestly, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as far as Game of the Year, I would actually probably choose Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Ooh.
But I think Last of Us Part 2 will win. Just like everybody else has said, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the winner. And it's going to win every other category, just like Red Dead did last year.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to deny it. I mean, even for the people who tried to hate this game, it's hard to deny that it was a juggernaut, and it's gonna smash records.
That's esports moment. The Last of Us Part 2.
I do think, of course, we're gonna get that Cyberpunk car. I do think we're going to get an announcement that the Master Chief is now in Fortnite, just like Kratos. It's happening.
Yeah.
I could see Microsoft doing that. Why not go? Because Kratos, you had to buy him in the game, right? He wasn't a free. It's not a free character, right?
No,
I don't play Fortnite. Okay, yeah.
Nothing in Fortnite's free.
I don't see why Microsoft doesn't jump in. I saw some screenshots that could have been photoshopped, but I can definitely see them showing Master Chief in Fortnite. And then I think last but not least for Xbox is going to go dark, and then we're going to see white words that says the initiative. And then the initiative's name gets destroyed because the initiative gets renamed to something else. And we finally get a teaser trailer of what they're working on. That's me.
Maybe.
I could see that.
That's deep.
Yeah, like I'm really for Sony. It's so hard for Sony, right? Because the only thing I really want to see is because they said it was coming out next year is Horizon, like gameplay. Like I'd be so happy because Balo is life, Balo is love. Y'all know this. Even though I don't think it's coming out next year, neither do I think. I don't think Ragnarok is coming out next year either. I wouldn't be shocked to see gameplay from either one of those two. It would rock the building to see Kratos, right? Like if we get like a quick teaser of him and wait a minute, spoiler alert, who hasn't finished God of War here? Okay, take.
But I already.
I will, and I know. So
Okay, so
You still need to finish Inquisition, boy.
I can see a quick teaser of him and Thor like face to face. That would rock the house,
hell
right?
yeah.
A cinematic reveal, and then you see him and Thor. Like you see Mjolnir, and you see whatever, whether the blades or whatever for Kratos. Like face to face would rock the house. Like I would lose my ass overhyped for that, right?
except it'll end up being a Fortnite commercial.
The guy from
Oh my God,
Fortnite.
kill me.
What's scary is like you joke, but you.
You're giving them ideas.
Yeah.
Thor
That
now in
could be
Fortnite.
very close to reality.
Jeez.
So, in the chat, Omar says Silent Hill, Hustle, Perfect Dark for Xbox, and Gotti will be Last of Us. Omar says Final Fantasy VII will be Gotti. Last of Us is a great game, mediocre story. Do you think there will be a Breath of the Wild trailer? The second one trailer too.
Breath of the Wild
Flames wants to see. Yeah, Flames wants to see more from the new Outlast game. Baron said Avowed.
Oh, I forgot about
Omar
Avowed.
said Elden Ring.
I could see Elden Ring.
Finally.
I mean,
It doesn't exist.
what happened to that?
It doesn't exist.
Hey, Phil
I
Spencer's
think
played
we
it.
all
It-
collectively dreamed it.
Hey, what if we see
I
Starfield?
feel to play it.
Get out of here.
What if we see Starfield?
Get out of here.
We're likely to see Citizen. What the hell is that
I
game?
don't know. I mean, it's
Starfield?
been, man. They announced that game a long time ago. It could easily be shown. Starfield would be.
Get another
pretty big-
Fast and Furious announcement.
You know,
we can only hope after that game came out.
you know what would suck? Because all the people who have fully functioning brain cells know that the Microsoft ZeniMax deal won't go through to 2021, right? Officially. But it's happening, right? There's nothing that anyone thinks legally would block it. Right. So let's say we did see Starfield, and it starts off by saying Bethesda Studios, and it says Starfield, nothing about Microsoft. Then we gotta hear everybody, all the idiots on Twitter, see, coming to PlayStation. Nothing about Xbox on there, even because they legally can't. But okay, but I'm just putting it out there. We're gonna see a bunch of idiots if we ever see Starfield before the acquisition goes through. Just putting it out there.
I mean, we'll see idiots no matter what. So
Idiots gonna be idiots.
Yeah, that's true.
Y'all know how we do. Before we get up out of here, we like to give our suggestions for the week. Trevor knows about this, but I'm gonna give him a little time to get this together just in case he forgot. I'm gonna start with you, Demi. What are your suggestions for this week, sir?
For games, I've been playing this game called Pathologic 2. And
Leaving Game Pass soon,
incredible
so go
game.
play it.
on 16th,
I
yeah.
bought it, so I bought the game. So it's great. It's a great time sink. It's such an awful world you live in that game, but I can't stop playing it. I've been stabbing people for bread. This is a great time. I'm living the hobo life. This is a great game. Please, if you haven't played it, go play Pathologic 2. Stab some people. Go beat people up. Go find your father. Cure sickness. Take people's bread. Great game.
You over here
Okay.
telling you to cure sickness as he's stabbing people for bread.
I was gonna say, somebody please take that out of context and go, Demi was telling you to stab people for bread.
Hugger,
Stab
what?
people for bread. 2020.
Oh wait a minute, Demi. Do you have any more suggestions?
Nah, that's it. That's the only thing I have this week.
Hugger, what you got, love?
For a movie, if you were, down for some gritty crime, Boondock Saints, great movie, classic. Always enjoy it. For shows, this is gonna sound weird coming from me, but it's one of my favorite shows when it first premiered on Spike TV, who used to do the Game Awards. Was Blue Mountain State. It's so dumb, but I love that show so much. For games, I'll give you two because I want to promote an indie one too. Katana Zero is the indie one. Katana Zero, great game, great music. And for big games, the Metro series just turned 10. Although I'm not a fan of Exodus, the other two are pretty banging. So go play them.
Citizen Snips, what you got?
Let's see here for shows. I've actually watched a live action show for the first time in like 18 months.
What?
I know, right? Shocking, even to me. I would recommend everybody go give a glimpse over. And the only reason I got one of my buddies hooked me up with his CBS All Access login information. So I have been streaming Star Trek Discovery. I'm a Star Trek fan myself. The Next Generation was a chef's kiss for me. I've watched the whole thing probably like 4 times through. So I always jonesing for more Star Trek. Discovery's been pretty good so far. I just finished the first season. I will say, CBS, if you're listening, your streaming app sucks, and it makes absolutely no sense the way you structure things and how you don't show me what I've watched already, and how you start with the most recent season instead of the oldest season, and then the most recent episode instead of the first episode. So I get spoilers thrown in my face if I read a little blurb. It's terrible. I don't want to go on a tangent, but your app stinks. But Star Trek Discovery is pretty good. And then for a game, is one I played at the recommendation of somebody from my streaming community, game called SCP Secret Laboratory. It's a pretty complicated game at first to get into, but basically you either play as a scientist trying to escape this crazy laboratory, a kind of like a security guard who's to help the scientists escape, an evil creature that's trying to murder both of them, or the final guys who are just been deemed to come in and clean out the whole laboratory, scientists and all. But you kind of randomly spawn as each one every time you hop in the server and play the game. And it's got a nice little indie feel to it, but it's a pretty neat game, cool premise. It definitely would require some time to get into and really learn. But I think it looks like something that could be worth it, and it could lead to some really fun games, especially if you're playing with a group of friends as well. So I would recommend checking that out, SCP Secret Laboratory. And for once, I don't have an anime because I haven't been watching anything new. I guess I don't know if we've ever talked about it before, but if you've never seen Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? I started rewatching that the other night because season 3 started airing recently. So first season, really, really good. Second season, still pretty good. This third season has been kind of for me. It started a little but it's starting to salvage itself. So I think it's a good one for you to go and watch.
Okay. And last but not least, our guest for the night from Winterborn Studios, Mr. Trevor. What can you recommend for the people this week, sir?
So for games, I've been diving. I started to dive into somewhere that I probably shouldn't have because it's going to lead to me playing a lot of long ass RPGs. But I dove into The Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky, which it's the precursor series to the Trails of Cold Steel games.
Okay.
Okay.
And the first series, it originally came out on PSP, but it's also available on PC. So I got the PC version of Trails in the Sky. If you like old school Japanese RPGs with a good story and really good characters, it's awesome. Go buy it. It's like $20 on Steam right now. So
I might need to talk to you more about this because the Cold Steel series caught my eye. And I kind of wanted to get into it, and I saw one on my Switch, and I was like, ooh, I could buy this game. Looks like a good game for my Switch, too. But then I read, and it was like, you're really going to want some backstory from, like, this giant lineage of other games. And I was like, I don't have time for that. I was like,
exactly. That's why I started the Trails in the Sky stuff, and I was like, I shouldn't have done this, but I've already dove in now.
I'm committed now, yeah.
It seems totally worth it, though. But beyond games, I'm actually just like our friend Snips over here. I've also dug into some Star Trek recently. So I've not really been much of a Trekkie. So I've watched like a season of TNG, and I've watched like a couple of newer movies. But I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go in chronological order and start watching. So I've been watching some Star Trek Enterprise.
Okay.
And as I know, a lot of Trekkies don't like Enterprise, but I really am enjoying the hell out of it.
I thought I didn't outright hate it. I thought it was pretty good. I was like, this is serviceable. I can mess with this.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's you can tell it's the early days of humanity going into space, and I like that a lot. So I would definitely recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's also on the CBS app that Snips was talking about. And as someone who during quarantine binged all 40 seasons of Survivor on the CBS app,
good God.
because
Jesus.
I'm a crazy person, that app is terrible. But
Really bad.
I did it anyway.
And it's not like CBS is like, oh, we're this poor like small company. We don't have money to fund this. No, you're raking
You do.
in billions hand over fist. Like, make a good app, please.
Yeah,
And
fix it.
you do television production for a living. Like this should be your thing.
Yeah, just do what every other app does and steal from the other apps and what makes them
Please.
work well.
Thank
Like,
you.
just do it. Just be smart about it. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Oh, and I also wanted to recommend a great sitcom from our friends up in Canada that's on Netflix called Kim's Convenience.
That's
which is
a good show.
Yeah, it's such a good show that just takes you into the lives of a Korean immigrant family in Toronto, and it's just fun to watch. So I would highly recommend it. It has Simu Liu in it, who's going to be Shang-Chi in the MCU. And yeah, I would definitely recommend watching it. It's 4 seasons. They're still filming more seasons. It's a really good show.
Speaking of streaming services, for me, I'm gonna be really, really quick. If you are a Disney peers, you're not gonna want to hear this. But for those who aren't, Mulan is actually pretty good. I know a lot of people hated it because there was no dancing and no Mushu. Take it for what it is and the direction they went with it. Mulan is actually pretty darn good, and I wouldn't have regretted paying the $34 if I had to pay $34. I really liked it. My wife liked it. My kids liked it, and better than what most people say. And as far as gaming wise, time to head back over to Avengers, baby. Taking Aim is out. Make sure you guys go check out Kate Bishop because she real with that bow and arrow. One thing I will be talking about here because they did finally, for the first time, mention Wakanda.
Ooh.
So I'm thinking after Clint Barton, my man T'Challa may be up next, and I'm still praying and hoping that the Chadwick Boseman family, along with Square Enix, can come and together and say, hey, let's deep fake him. Let's put his face. Let him be the face of T'Challa. That would be a way to memorialize him forever besides the movies. I think that would be a great touch. You make all his cosmetics free. That would be such an amazing touch, and it would be appreciated by a lot of people, especially myself. So, yes, Kate Bishop, Taking Aim. Go check it out. It's a good time to hop back into Avengers because finally the content is starting to roll out. We should be getting Clint Barton in January or February, likely end of January. And then soon after that, it's most likely going to be T'Challa because they finally brought mention to Wakanda in this. So we're going to get up out of here. Everyone's stuff is on the screen if you want to follow them on Twitter or on Twitch. I don't know what's wrong with Dallas. I think his camera froze, but I think he'll be good for next week. He's been kind of silent, but that's cool. Next Wednesday, we are back on the 16th. We will have Zombie Kills will be our guest on the 16th, which is going to be super exciting to talk with her and pick her brain as much as possible. Tomorrow, there is no Take Two because we do have the Video Game Awards, so we'll be starting along with the pre-show. No cams. We'll have the screen up, reacting with you guys as we move forward. So we're going to get up out of here. I want to tell you guys congratulations. And once again, you guys leveled up to 133. This was a double XP podcast. Make sure you get all your gaming news from lv1gaming.com. And also, if you're interested in getting your foot cracking that door and getting your big toe into the gaming industry, let us know. We're always looking for new content creators, new writers for the site. I've never written before. I'm worried. Don't worry, baby. We got some great editors. We got some great teachers, and we will, if you got the passion for the gaming industry, we got you covered. Once again, this was 133 of the WSP podcast. Get all your gaming news from levelupgaming.com, and we're out. You better say, "Hama senor," whatever you be saying before I stop the stream.
안녕하세요, 여러분.
Onions. We out, y'all. Later.
That was a full